Welcome, sports fans, to the PB&Z Sports Chaos Show, your weekly sports sandwich. And this week, we are fueled by our friends from Night Shift Brewery in Everett, Massachusetts. This week, we are featuring their One Hop This Time brew, and the flavor is Simcoe. They have apparently 6 flavors of the One Hop this time. Simcoe is one of them. A nice, tasty 6.0 ABV. By the way, Night Shift is also one of the sponsors of the Beer Garden on the Charles River every summer. They started last year, one of the originals. Try it out this summer. Nice brew. All right, Paul, shout-outs.
Shout-outs, yeah. So we wanted to thank our viewers. We are now up to, Russ, believe it or not here, we are sitting at 463 unique viewers on our show. Unbelievable since we started this 3 weeks ago. We're going to be posting this is our 4th episode now. And even more importantly, our 3rd episode last week alone has 152 views already. It's only been up for 6 days. So thank you to our fans. And as we expand our national presence, I just want to shout out to a few of our new members that are not from the New England area. Karen in Chicago. Adam and Jillian in California.
Ooh, West
we
Coast.
also have Kelly in Savannah, Georgia.
Ooh.
And Nick in the ATL. Yeah, and then we have Tanya in Ohio, we have Tyler in Denver, and we also have Barb in Pennsylvania. Ooh, so thank you.
Thank you, Bob. Awesome. That's awesome, man.
I'm so excited. It's great.
All right, this week we're gonna stay very local, folks. We got 4 topics. A little Bruins update for you. 18. West Coast swing for the Celtics. We're gonna talk a little Red Sox down there in Fenway South, and Patriots with a little NFL rubbed in. All right, are you ready, PB?
I am ready.
All right, let's bring it on. Bruins. I can't believe the game Thursday night. That now gives them 18 games in a row with a point.
Yes.
They came back from 2-0 deficit. Then they were down again with 30 seconds left. They scored 2 goals to bring back and win that game. Awesome game against Florida. This is unbelievable. This is the 2nd year in a row that they've had an 18-game point streak.
Yeah.
Which is the first time in
40-something years the Canadians did it.
The Canadians are the last team to do it. Repeated 18-plus games in a row. Wow.
So, 32 out of 36 points. I mean, that's pretty incredible. That's a good stretch.
And they went from not being the talk of the town, right? They were we were still talking about the Patriots. Yeah. We were talking about spring training coming out, the Celtics, and what's wrong with them. And all of a sudden, they're a buzzword right now, right?
They are.
Without Pasta. He's been out for a couple of weeks,
right?
Without
Pasta, yeah. I'm still going to say that they're a better team with Pasta on the ice. There's no question about that. Mm-hmm. There's talk out there, they're winning without him, maybe they're a better team without him. Not the case. I mean, this team is obviously maybe peaking a little too early. I'd like to see him doing this going into the playoffs.
So maybe another week or 2 before they started the streak, right?
Yeah. But either way, you're not going to sustain this level of play going into the playoffs without Pasternak on the ice.
I would agree.
And that's really what it's all about. Everyone takes it up a notch. It's a new slate, and they really need to do that at that time.
Yes. All right, moving on. Celtics. So Celtics, speaking of streaks, they've won 2 in a row. Apparently, that's a streak for the Celtics, right? But they are out west, where that's a challenging road trip. They did beat the Warriors, the so-called best team in the NBA. They crushed them. It was the worst home loss by Steve Kerr team since he's been there. And then they won back-to-back, beating Sacramento the next night. So the question, though, is, can they win consistently, and can they win with Kyrie? Because the second game they won without Kyrie, correct?
Yeah.
Back to the point with Pasta.
Yeah,
Kyrie, Pasta.
Yeah, I think that's a different story, because, I mean, you look at the Celtics when they don't have, the Bruins are winning games, but the Celtics, statistically, they're a better team when Kyrie's not on the court.
That is a point. That is a fact. You're right.
So maybe he's a great player. Maybe he's not a great player on that team.
Right.
Or he makes other distractions occur, communication, whatever it might be. But this is a joke. I mean, they win 2 games in a row. We're really talking about the Celtics again? I mean, think about it. And even if they do pull off these 2 games, which I don't think they will.
So you think LA, they're going to LA, you think they're going to lose 1 out of the 2 or 2 out of the 2?
Yeah. And even if they did win them both, big deal. They won 4 games. The Celtics, I mean, the Bruins just won 4 games out west as well.
Yeah.
Before they came on their road trip, they're 14-0-4, and we're talking about them being worried about them going into the playoffs. Like, the Celtics with a 2-game winning streak, all of a sudden we think they're going to go in the playoffs and make I just don't see it
I
happening.
will say
Sorry.
that I still think, and one of our listeners pointed this out, that I think they need another dependable big man. It's too late now at this point in time. Obviously, Robert Williams, the big dude from Texas, the number one draft pick they picked up this year, would be a helper. He's a little bit injury prone. We shall see. I think they got to win these 2 games and then come home and see what happens at that point in time. Who knows? Lakers tonight and Doc Rivers on Monday night.
Yep, we'll see.
All right, moving on. We're going to talk a little bit about our friends down in Fenway South, the Boston Red Sox. JetBlue Park South, I guess is why they're calling that, right? Or what they're calling that.
Well, it's because, JetBlue's hub is in Boston. So it's like JetBlue South is like...
I had no idea. So you frequent travelers, frequent flyer travelers, you know that. Apparently, I did not know that. I don't fly enough. Okay, now I get it why they call that. I couldn't figure it out. All right, let's talk about the team. So, they have a lot going on, obviously. They were just on the ESPN All Access the other day. If you didn't see it, you missed a great show. That's all I'm going to say. Very enlightening with the guys mic'd up live. I love to see it. I'm glad I was able to take the day off and watch that. What do you think, though, at this point in time? The big stars haven't pitched yet, right?
No, they haven't pitched yet. I'm not really worried about the preseason. That they're getting loose, they're warming up, they're doing what they need to do to get ready for the regular season. It means nothing to me. Just looking forward to the season starting, really.
So let me ask you a question. Stephen Wright suspended 80 games. Is that a factor?
Well, you gotta stay on the juice to throw those knuckleballs.
There you go. You gotta be juiced to throw the floater. All right.
No, I don't think that's any impact. I mean, the guy won 3 games last year. Yeah, granted ERA under 3, which is great. But
Right.
He's a nice filler when you need it. Guy goes on the DL for a little while. You bring Wright in, throws a few games.
He would be the 6th starter, which apparently they're going to pitch 6 starters in the first 11 games. That's the talk right now. So the starters are going to be Sale, Porcello,
Price,
Erod, and Eovaldi, right?
Eovaldi, yep.
Not in that order, but that's the
Yep.
5. And then now without Wright, it looks like it might be Brian Johnson or some other guy, right?
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. Here's what's I'm boggled by this right now. Vegas has us tied for 3rd in the odds behind Houston. Did we not beat Houston in the playoffs?
We did.
Behind the Yankees. Did we not beat the Yankees in the playoffs?
Yes, we did.
And we're tied with the Dodgers. Hang on. Did we not beat them in the World Series?
I know. It's mind-boggling in a way,
So we're
right?
tied with them. And who did we lose off the roster?
I mean, technically nobody yet. I mean, Kimbrell's probably not going to be there, but he was less than impressive down the stretch. So
Good point.
if
You're
he
right.
goes, he goes. I think it's a real, shocker to me that we're still behind those 3 teams odds-wise. I mean, they must be thinking that the team can't stay as healthy as they did last year. If you think about the starting staff, they stayed pretty healthy. I mean, they took little stints off. Sale took some maintenance time off, but for the most part, it was a pretty healthy year for the Red Sox, right?
And that pitching staff was fairly impressive. I mean, the records, you have the records.
17, Porcello 17-7, Price 16-7, Sale 12-4, Erod 13-5. Those are great winning percentages, right? Win totals, okay. That's a starting 4. You have if you 12 wins or more, 4 pitches. That's great. But the winning percentages are great. There's very few losses there.
No, and by the way, the first 2 guys, if Porcello and Price can be around that, that's great. Supposedly the big rumor now is that Erod is the guy. He has all the stuff. Everybody says he has electric stuff. All the other pitchers talk about him. If he can do better than 13-5, is that what you said, right?
Yeah.
That's the thing. If he can get to 18 or 19,
that's a stretch. But
and Sale winning 12, I think is an anomaly. Don't you agree?
yeah, he should be looking at a 20-game season.
And we haven't even factored in Eovaldi yet, right?
With that offense, he should be a 20-game winner. I think. Sale. Eovaldi, Eovaldi to me is a 500 pitcher. He's a guy who's going to come in.
Career-wise,
he's going to throw gas, right?
101.
He's going to get his strikeouts. He's going to go. To me, he's an 11-10 guy.
Mm-hmm.
12-10 guy or something like that. But
do you think he'll be 12-10 with this team?
Well, that's the thing. With the offense behind you like that, you could easily, that's 2 or 3 games the other way. Now all of a sudden, instead of being a 12-11 pitcher, you're a 15-7 pitcher or something like that. So, I could see Eovaldi making a big contribution this year. I mean, they signed him for a reason.
They did. You're right. He has an arm. He has an arm. All right. Moving on. We're going to come to our weekly fun facts. So 100 years ago, right? Something big happened, right?
Yeah, and it has to do with the Stanley Cup. Right?
Yeah. So, hey, sports fans, I bet you didn't know this. 100 years ago, PB, did you know this? Back 100 years ago, 1919, the NHL actually played a first half and a second half of the season. 2 days ago, the first half winner in 1919 was the dreaded Les Habitants, the Montreal Canadiens.
Yes.
They won the first half. The second half was the Ottawa. Believe it or not, they were still called the Senators back then, even though they had a gap for another 50 years. The Senators won the second half, and then they had to play the winner in the Stanley Cup was the PCHA. Am I correct?
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
The Seattle...
Metropolitans.
The Mets? The Seattle Mets! Can you believe it? Wow.
I know.
So they played the Seattle
and then
Mets.
Seattle's getting a new team now.
That's right. What are they going to be called this time?
The Pilots, I believe. Yeah.
Seattle's going to have a team. So anyways, what happened back then, believe it or not, fans, no Stanley Cup was awarded in 1919. Do you know why? PB, any idea? The dreaded flu.
It was the flu.
They all got the flu. The series was tied 2-2-1, and they said, everybody's sick. We're going to quit the series. It's all over. No Stanley Cup was awarded.
Yeah.
That's our fun fact this week. Can you imagine that? No Stanley
That's
Cup in
interesting.
1919. Hey, take that to your local bar, bet a little on it, so you can get a few brews. All right, we are moving on. Now it's time for our favorite part of the show.
The NFL and the Patriots.
And the Patriots, yeah. So, babe, it's a big period right now. Free agency starts officially on
March 13th.
Wednesday,
Yep.
but apparently, unofficially, it's been going on for a week because we know Nick Foles has been signed by...
The Jags and Flacco down in Denver.
Flacco's
right?
been traded to Denver, right? I mean, the rumors go on, and the one we just heard today was in the Patriots world.
Michael Bennett. Yeah.
Michael Bennett, brother of Martellus,
Yeah.
coming here.
Back in New England. Well,
So-
no, not back in New England, but Martellus is, if he came back.
And that's
They
another
did
wild
they-
rumor out there.
yeah.
Martellus might want to
Return to
put his
football,
cleats
yeah.
back on.
But imagine that. Imagine the McCourty brothers one year, and then you got the Bennett brothers the next year. And it's like
They're
freaking-
wild child. Bennett's a wild child. But let's talk about that
That's
for
the
a minute.
Brady Bunch, right?
Yeah. So Bennett, though, essentially means what? That means...
That means bye-bye Flowers, likely, right?
Either way, I mean, Bennett is how old?
Bennett's 33, 34,
And Flowers is roughly
25.
So we are going to take a guy with more mileage on him, right? Less gas in the tank for the
Yeah.
new model.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Obviously, it means he's going to sign for less money than we could get Trey for, right?
yeah. That's the whole thing. I mean, they're both 6'4". They're both, that 265, 270.
So they look a lot
range.
alike,
They
right?
look a lot alike. Their sack numbers are similar the last couple of years. Bennett had a lot of QB hits last year. That's kind of what I think Belichick's looking at, bringing him in. Obviously, his experience is going to be huge.
2 Super Bowls, right? He won one, and then he lost to us, right?
Right.
Malcolm Butler.
But the whole thing is, this is what the Patriots do,
Right.
right? They don't sign big contracts to quote unquote superstars, right? And
No,
this
they
is
don't.
and this is no different,
Right.
I mean, they don't pay. I mean, Kraft won't pay for a high price hooker. He's going to go the cheap route, right? He does
$79 an hour down in Florida, apparently.
He's going to do the same thing with his team. But we can't question it because
Right.
that's how they've operated over all these years.
Right. Yeah,
And-
that is true.
So this is no different to say, hey Trey, you know what? You're going to get a lot of money. We know you're going to get a lot of money. You're a free agent. You got a good agent. Go out and get that money if you can. And we're going to go ahead. But it's not. The thing is, it's not Bennett for Flowers, and that's where I think a lot of the confusion comes in. Is that's
Which
what
it
people,
looks like on
we're
paper,
bring-
right?
On paper, we're bringing in Bennett, we're getting rid of Flowers, and you just mentioned, you're almost trading off 9 years of age, 9 years of experience, but 9 years of physicality. You're trading off
Beatings. Physical beatings.
physical beatings. So it's, but that's not what it's about. They're going to take the money that they would have paid Flowers, and they're going to reallocate that to get other people to either stay or bring other people in. We know we got to do something with receiver. We'll talk about that in a minute. So they're going to put the team together the way it needs to be built. And that's what the Patriots have done so well over the years. And then they hand it over to Belichick. Belichick's involved in these decisions as well. And then he leverages the talent that he's got on the field.
He makes them all.
And he leverages the talent. I mean, he leveraged friggin' James Harrison when they had him.
Yep.
The guy, he came in on certain plays and did what he had to do on those plays.
Right.
That's what they do. I'm
No, you're
fine.
right, you're
I'm
right.
fine with it. Everyone's going to be like, oh my God, they're letting Flowers go. But they let Chandler Jones go. They let Jamie Collins go. They let Richard Seymour go. This isn't the first rodeo for them letting,
So flipping the other side of the
defensive
ball.
linemen
So
go.
theoretically, we're losing our best defensive lineman. Trey's gone. Arguably, he was our best defensive lineman. And then on the flip side, last week we talked about who I believe arguably was the best offensive lineman,
Brown. Yeah.
Trent Brown. He's going to be gone as well because he's going to command
Yeah.
$14-15 million because he was the best left tackle
Yeah.
in football. He's gone. And I don't know that they can find a suitable replacement.
Yeah.
They talk about
that
bringing
concerns
Cam
me
Fleming
more.
back.
That concerns me more.
Yeah.
That concerns me more because Brady, we know Brady's a vintage pocket passer,
Yes,
right?
correct,
That's what he does,
correct.
and you got to keep that guy up. You got to keep that pocket protected.
Well,
you
look
gotta
at the
keep his
Eagles
blind
Super
side.
Bowl versus this year, right? Brady stayed up more often this year than he did against the Eagles, right?
Yeah.
Even though he threw for 500-plus yards, but when he had to throw, he got sacked, right?
Yeah. Well, that whole year was a struggle, for
Right.
them, which is why this year I think their offensive line, they need to keep that intact.
I think Trent Brown's going to be a huge loss. I don't know what they can do. The other guy that didn't get franchised last Monday on the franchise deadline day was Gostowski, right? The kicker.
Oh yeah, the kicker, yeah.
And as you have said in the past, we have been
We're spoiled about kickers, right?
spoiled. We had
We've
Adam, right?
We've had
Adam?
two kickers since the late '90s, right, or mid '90s, right? Since Vinatieri and Gostkowski. That's been it.
Adam's a Hall of Famer. Do you agree?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Do you think Gostowski has a chance, possibly?
Yeah, I think a lot of it comes
Okay.
down with kickers comes down how long does
So
their
we
career
are
last.
spoiled because
It's,
there's not
you
that
know,
many kickers in the NFL to have 2-for-1 teams. Unbelievable.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
Right.
but we get on their case when they miss a kick, and
do we ever?
but-
Sorry, Gostowski.
But
Sorry, guys.
but other teams, I mean, they're playing, kicker carousel. I mean, there's been some that have played for a while. Don't get me wrong, but there's kicker carousel going on in some
Oh
of these
yeah,
teams.
there's some teams go through 3 or 4 in a year.
Yeah, we take it for granted.
Right.
We really do.
So let's just talk the other big needs, wide receiver. They only have literally like 3 guys under contract right now. Cordaro Patterson, his contract is up. Philip Dorsep's up. The only guys they have...
Hogan's up.
Hogan's up, right?
Yep.
So the only guy under contract still is Julian Barrios, the kid from Miami who didn't play at all this year. And they call him a wide receiver, but he's really a tight end. Hollister.
Yep.
So what are they going to do there? They got to get a receiver.
Yeah, I think they'll re-sign Dorsett. I think he's the most likely probably to get re-signed.
I like those. I think they should.
Yeah, Patterson.
They
I
used
think,
them the wrong way.
I think Patterson too, with his special teams play, and he's like he comes in on niche situations.
Correct.
I think he might get re-signed because he's short money. I think.
By the way, if they can't sign him for $3 or $4 million, which is kind of the number that's talked about, there's a guy out there that played Dallas last year, Tavon Austin. He's another gimmicky guy.
yeah,
I wouldn't mind seeing him.
yeah.
But to your point, they need someone. Don't you think?
Right.
Obviously, Josh might be around at some point in time if he doesn't get a suspension, but they need a big body guy, right?
Yeah, they do.
They don't have that receiver.
Right, and they're talking about guys like, Golden Tate's been talked about, but he's more of a slot guy.
He's a slot guy. He's not a big guy. No.
Randall Cobb's been talked about.
I do like Randall.
Funches from Carolina.
I like
think
Devin Funches. Big boy. He was a tight end in Michigan.
Yep, he's a big kid.
Big
I think
dude.
he can. I think I could see him, but it's so hard.
Head case.
Yeah, it's and the Patriots system. That's the hardest thing I think in the Patriots offense is receiver.
Chad Johnson couldn't
They
make it,
come
right?
in and they right. Well, think about just last year, all the guys they brought in with Decker and
None of those guys could
Rashad
accept the
Matthews,
system, right?
and they come in and out, in and out, and in and out. They don't even like. It's very difficult to play in that offense, I think, as a receiver, which is why guys like Julian Edelman. This is why I think you should really look at keeping Dorsett and
They know the system now. They've been around, right? They're acclimated to it. I would agree with you.
yeah.
I would agree with you. All right, a lot more to come with the Patriots and the NFL draft. Who knows? There's a lot of receivers out there they might be able to get in the 4th, 5th, 6th round now that everybody plays that wide open
Can't wait to do our draft shows. It's going to be so
April
much fun.
25th. We will be
So,
getting
I
ready
can't
for
wait.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
can't wait to do our
And
draft
coming
shows.
up in another week or two, we will be talking a little NCAA March Madness.
Yep.
Any
And the
final
Frozen Four. Don't forget about the Frozen Four.
Yes. Final parting shots. I know we didn't talk about curling this week, but
No, maybe next week we'll have a curling update for you. But
Okay.
yeah, other than that, hey, you got to look us up. PB and Z. That's PB, the letter N, Z, Sports Chaos. We're on Facebook with our Facebook group page. Please become a member. And we are also on YouTube, and please become a subscriber.
one hop this time. Have a great night. Thank you.